All right, we're back. Just want to take a little quick break, and we have another story. Then we're gonna go into entertainment. I don't know if we're gonna do another song. I'll see how this conversation goes. But so what else is on the wire for today, Michael?
Looks like Proposition 8, the great court ruling that has come out of the Ninth Circuit Court out west. Last that I've been following this, the Ninth Circuit Court Judge Walker has decided that it is the ban that banned same-sex marriages to be unconstitutional against the rights of same-sex couples that want to marry, and that law was struck down. He did give a period of time for the defeated people in the suit to file an appeal with the appellate court, and that is being done. They are filing their appeal. However, the appellate court has yet to decide whether or not they're going to go with that and take that case on. Currently, the question up at hand at the moment is, will they allow same-sex marriages to resume in lieu of waiting for the appellate court to make their decision? Last I knew, it could be a verdict on that could be coming for this week. The up-and-coming week here, they're probably, looks like they're going to let it resume, because for the law to stand, that would take basically the governor and the attorney general of California to come in and say, no, we don't want it to resume yet. So basically, and the governor and the attorney general are in favor of the court's opinion on this matter. So there's going to be a lot of leeway there if that can even be determined in the courts. So basically what we're looking at is, it looks like the judge is going to allow marriages to resume. He did base his opinion on striking down Proposition 8 as, according to the judge, saying that the law would only restrict and infringe upon the rights of same-sex couples. Therefore, since the law being in effect would not hurt or cause harm to heterosexual couples, then there's no reason that this should be blocked. So that's kind of the opinion that we're looking at right now, and that's, as far as I'm aware of, where this is at in the news.
So, as far as the Supreme Court, what are they saying in the media now? As far as what are your concerns personally about that?
Well, first it's got to go through the appellate process, and then, of course, if Judge Walker's decision is upheld, then the next stop would be for them to file that with the Supreme Court. I really have a strong concern for that.
Mm-hmm.
And the strong concern that I have is, I am in favor of same-sex marriage, and personally, I'm a little bit fearful on this, because if it goes to the Supreme Court has a history of not liking to change their mind about things. They make a ruling, it's going to stick for quite a long time. So all of those that are out there that are in favor of same-sex marriage, if this goes to the Supreme Court and gets struck down, then I am very concerned that it may take 20 or 30 years before the rights of people in that situation have a chance at even getting that back for them. Because the Supreme Court, there's 9 of them, and it's kind of split, 4 conservative, 4 liberal, and 1 swing voter. You don't know which way this is going to go. So me personally, being in favor of same-sex marriage, I'm really kind of fearful of how this could go. I'm not too afraid of the appellate court. I think the appellate court in California is probably going to, in my judicial opinion, probably going to uphold Judge Walker's decision. However, the Supreme Court, that worries me, because society is changing, and, you could potentially set back the rights of a group of people for 20 or 30 years if this goes to the Supreme Court and gets struck down. I'm really kind of fearful of that.
Wow. Well, do you look at this more as a legalistic issue, and what role do you think religion plays in this when it comes to the Constitution and law?
Well, we're supposed to have a separation of church and state. However, the reality of it all is that church, most of the religions as a whole tend to be anti-same-sex anything. So my worry is that instead of looking at this from a legal, judicial perspective, people are people, and people are going to bring their own ideas of what's right for everybody and force that will upon everybody else. Of course, that's not within just religion. That occurs everywhere in the world, not just in churches. But my real concern for this is that they are going to not look at the judicial perspective. And there are some very pro-gay churches out there as well that do a lot of also good humanitarian work out there. However, I'm afraid that, we have to look at a separation of church and state here. And I'm afraid that that's, in reality, not going to happen. Look at politics.
And, regardless to how you feel about same-sex marriages, you have to, the Constitution is the Constitution. And, and people have their views on it, and that's fine, either way. But when we're talking about the law, it is what it is. As far as American law is concerned, you have to look at it from that point of view, because the dangers of not, lawsuits will come up and all kind of civil disrest. So that's what the issue is. Like I said, people have their own religious views about it, and that's fine. But when we're talking about the law, you have to look at it from how this country was founded, and like the Constitution and stuff like that is concerned.
And another thing I think too, if we look at it from a just purely judicial perspective, what same-sex marriage is pushing for is to not downgrade what's already in place and has been in place. It's not looking to take away from that. It's looking for a group of people to have their own rights to do this. And since it's not going to hurt or take away from, and I know people argue that on a moral principle, but strictly on a legal basis, it's not saying that you can't, a heterosexual couple can't get married. It's not saying that at all. So it's wanting a group of people to have a right that if you take it away from them and say they can't do it, then they are infringed upon. But still, if you let them have it, it's not going to hurt anything. So I think the judicial perspective there is more in favor of allowing it to continue. But again, I'm not a law professor either.
Yeah. Well, that's, like I said, it's going to be a very controversial law, a very controversial topic, and I'm really interested in seeing which way it goes. And I really, not only that,
we'll hear more this week in the news as well.
Yeah. And also, if anything, I'm more interested in seeing what the reaction is going to be either way it turns out. So it's going to be one of those things where it's going to cause some type of unrest either way. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens in that. And like you said, I'm pretty sure we're going to hear more about that in the media this week. And pretty much that's all I have on it. Do you have anything else to add on to that? We're going to go to a song real quick, and then we're going to jump into the entertainment beat. But do you have anything else to add on that?
No, I think that's all I've got.